Conquering Asia, Alexander's greatest feats. Alexander the Great's conquest of Asia was a monumental achievement in ancient history, transforming him from the king of a small Greek kingdom into the ruler of an empire that spanned 3 continents. His journey was marked by military brilliance, strategic foresight, and a relentless ambition that pushed him and his men beyond the limits of endurance. His greatest feats were not only his victories on the battlefield, but also his ability to adapt to new challenges, unify diverse cultures, and leave a lasting legacy that would echo through history. Chapter 1. The Bold Crossing into Asia Minor. In 334 BCE, Alexander crossed the Hellespont with an army of 40,000 soldiers, marking the beginning of his campaign against the Persian Empire. This symbolic crossing into Asia Minor was his first step toward conquering the East. At just 20 years old, Alexander had already unified Greece, and now he sought to bring down Persia, the largest and most powerful empire of the ancient world. His first major battle came at the Granicus River, where he faced the Persian satraps of Asia Minor. Leading a daring charge across the river, Alexander's army overwhelmed the Persian forces, marking his first major victory in Asia. The Battle of Granicus secured his hold over Asia Minor and established him as a formidable force in the eyes of the Persian Empire. Chapter 2. The Siege of Tyre, a test of perseverance. After securing Asia Minor, Alexander moved south along the Levantine coast, encountering the island city of Tyre. Tyre was heavily fortified and strategically important, with a strong navy that could threaten Alexander's rear. The city refused to surrender, forcing Alexander into a siege that would test his ingenuity and perseverance. To reach Tyre, Alexander ordered the construction of a massive causeway across the sea, connecting the mainland to the island. For 7 months, his engineers and soldiers labored, enduring attacks from Tyrian forces. Finally, Alexander breached the city's defenses and Tyre fell. The fall of Tyre was a monumental feat of engineering and determination, securing Alexander's control over the eastern Mediterranean and demonstrating his refusal to let any obstacle stand in his way. Chapter 3. The Conquest of Egypt and the Founding of Alexandria. With Tyre under his control, Alexander marched into Egypt, where he was welcomed as a liberator from Persian rule. In Egypt, he visited the oracle of Ammonius at Siwa, where he was proclaimed the son of Zeus Ammon. This title reinforced his belief in his divine mission and bolstered his reputation as a godlike ruler. During his time in Egypt, Alexander founded the city of Alexandria at the Nile Delta. Alexandria would become one of the most important cities of the ancient world, a center of trade, culture, and learning. The founding of Alexandria marked Alexander's vision for a unified empire, where Greek and Eastern traditions would coexist, setting the stage for the spread of Hellenistic culture across the Mediterranean and beyond. Chapter 4. The Battle of Issus, facing Darius III. In 333 BCE, Alexander faced the Persian king Darius III at the Battle of Issus. The battlefield was narrow, allowing Alexander's smaller force to neutralize the Persian numerical advantage. In a decisive maneuver, Alexander led a charge directly at Darius's position, causing the Persian king to flee. The victory at Issus dealt a severe blow to Persian morale and secured Alexander's hold over the Levant. Capturing Darius's family, whom he treated with respect, Alexander demonstrated his commitment to a chivalrous code. His army's confidence in him grew, and they saw him not only as a leader but as a figure destined for greatness. The Battle of Issus was a turning point, marking Alexander as the Persian Empire's greatest threat. Chapter 5. The Decisive Victory at Gaugamela. The climax of Alexander's campaign against Persia came in 331 BCE at the Battle of Gaugamela. Darius had amassed a massive army from across his empire, preparing for a final showdown with the Macedonian king. The open plains favored the Persian forces, especially their war chariots, but Alexander's tactical genius prevailed. Using a combination of feints and a direct cavalry charge, Alexander exploited a gap in the Persian line, breaking through and forcing Darius to flee once again. This victory shattered Persian resistance, allowing Alexander to capture key cities like Babylon, Susa, and Persepolis. The fall of Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of Persia, symbolized the end of the Achaemenid Empire and solidified Alexander's title as King of Kings. Chapter 6. The Pursuit of Darius and Expansion into Central Asia. Even with his control over the Persian heartland, Alexander was not satisfied. Determined to capture Darius himself, he pursued the Persian king through the rugged terrain of Bactria and Sogdiana. Along the way, Alexander encountered fierce resistance from local tribes, forcing him to adapt to guerrilla warfare and harsh environmental conditions. Eventually, Darius was betrayed and killed by his own men. Alexander, upon finding Darius's body, honored him with a royal funeral, symbolizing his respect for a fallen adversary. With Darius's death, Alexander declared himself the legitimate ruler of the Persian Empire and began integrating Persian nobility into his administration, a move that aimed to unify his vast territories. Chapter 7. The Eastern Campaign, Conquering the Lands of India. With the Persian Empire under his control, Alexander's ambition turned even further eastward, toward the unknown lands of India. In 327 BCE, he crossed the Hindu Kush, facing new and unfamiliar challenges. The Battle of the Hydaspes in 326 BCE, fought against King Porus and his war elephants, was one of Alexander's most challenging battles. Though victorious, the toll on his army was high, and Alexander's respect for Porus led him to reinstate the defeated king as a regional governor. This encounter demonstrated Alexander's diplomatic acumen. He knew that loyalty could be won through respect as well as through force. However, the Indian campaign tested the limits of his army. Exhausted and longing to return home, Alexander's men ultimately refused to march further east. Reluctantly, he agreed to turn back, marking the easternmost extent of his conquests. Chapter 8. The Grueling Return and the Gedrosian Desert. On the journey back to Babylon, Alexander led his army through the Gedrosian Desert, one of the harshest environments they had encountered. The desert crossing became a test of survival, as his men faced extreme heat, lack of water, and harsh conditions. Many soldiers perished, and the desert march underscored the immense cost of Alexander's ambition. The survivors who reached Babylon were forever changed by the hardships of the campaign. Alexander's relentless pursuit of conquest had brought them across vast and treacherous lands, but it had also taken a toll on their loyalty and strength. Chapter 9. The Final Days and Unfulfilled Ambitions. Alexander returned to Babylon in 324 BCE and began organizing his empire, integrating Greek and Persian practices, and planning new campaigns, including a possible invasion of Arabia. He introduced policies encouraging cultural integration, including the marriages of his officers to Persian women, hoping to unify his diverse empire. However, in 323 BCE, at the age of 32, Alexander fell ill and died, leaving his empire without a clear successor. His sudden death left his generals and followers in a power struggle that would eventually divide the empire into separate Hellenistic kingdoms. Epilogue. The Legacy of Alexander's Greatest Feats. Alexander's conquests were unprecedented in their scope and impact. He had transformed the ancient world, spreading Greek culture and influence across the Mediterranean, Persia, Egypt, and India. His feats extended beyond military victories. They encompassed the creation of a multicultural empire that fostered trade, learning, and cultural exchange. The cities he founded, especially Alexandria, became lasting symbols of Hellenistic civilization, influencing art, science, and philosophy for centuries. Though his empire fractured after his death, Alexander's legacy endured. His vision of a unified world, where East and West could coexist, inspired future empires and leaders, including the Romans. His journey through Asia was not only a conquest of land but a transformation of the cultures and people he encountered. Alexander's greatest feats are remembered not only for their military brilliance but for their lasting impact on the course of history. In the end, Alexander's journey across Asia stands as a testament to human ambition, the pursuit of greatness, and the power of one man's vision to shape the world. His legacy as a conqueror, visionary, and cultural unifier remains a symbol of the heights that can be reached when ambition is matched with courage and foresight. Alexander the Great's feats continue to inspire, reminding us of the timeless power of vision and determination.